Welcome to Resilient Love Podcast.
Join hosts Quentin and Brianna as they discuss tips on love, life, and
business.
Let's get into this next episode. What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
We're back with another episode of Resilient Love. I'm telling you guys, we were not necessarily... Hold on, wait. We're trying to jump right in the topic, and we have not taken a moment to just check in with each other.
I don't know if we had time to check in with everything that's going on today.
Man, if you haven't already, go ahead and click the subscribe button. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or any other listening platform, make sure you go ahead and continue to follow us because we are going to bring you guys more resilient love. But before we get into our topic, which you guys can kind of read from the title where we're going with this, let's go ahead and check in. So, Q, how would you rate your day on a scale of 1 to 5? How do you rate your day?
I think today was definitely a 9. And it really just recently turned into a question mark.
A 9 to a question mark?
When I saw what I've seen on this day in history, it's still a 9, but it's got a / question mark on what just happened today.
Q just took the whole scale from 1 to 5 to 1 to 10. But anyway,
I'm still there. I'm at that 9, but I'm telling you.
Okay, so the scale is actually 1 to 10. So with that being said, I'm going to give today a 10. I think it was a really good day. Yeah. I got some extra rest, and I'm just feeling good overall.
I mean, all jokes aside, mine is only a 9 because of just wanting to get some stuff finished up today that I didn't get done. But that question mark. So let's.
We still got one more thing to say.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Oh, what's that?
The question of the day.
Okay. How
would you guys rate your day while Quentin is trying to figure out what the question of the day is?
I think the question of the day is, what award show would you like to go to in the future?
I don't know at the time. I think I would like to go to any award show that Kev on Stage puts on. Because Kev on Stage is going to put on an award show in the future. I feel it. Kev on Stage, if you ever hear this clip, just know, I believe you're going to put on a great award show one day, and I'm going to go to it. But before now, it was actually BET.
Oh, really?
I really want to go to BET Awards. But the BET Awards has shifted, so.
Got you. I respect that.
What about you?
For me, it's always been the Essence.
Yes, that's a good one.
That's a real good one. Yeah. And I'm hoping to see Kevin Hart host a good award show whenever I do get a chance to go.
I agree totally. I agree.
His last movie was dope. So yeah, on top of his comedies.
If you guys have not checked out the Netflix movie called,
is it The Untold? What is it called?
True Story.
True Story. That's it.
If you haven't seen the Netflix movie True Story with Kevin Hart and the other gentleman,
Wesley Snipes,
check that out because that was a really good movie. It has a nice twist. So listen, guys,
we kind of like our topic, huh?
We usually do 2 questions a day, but honey, we're gonna jump right into this thing. So you guys see on the topic here, and our last episode, we asked you guys to let us know what you thought about our segment. So the first segment we are jumping into is this Oscars. Like Quentin and I, we usually try to stay a little bit up to date with things that happen, but we were actually focused on some other stuff tonight, but we ended up getting some alerts because of social media.
Yeah. Let's just be honest. We were focused on business. Like we were truly like just diving in. And
Of course, Brianna found something. I saw everybody on my timeline talking about this clip. Not even the full Oscars, just this one moment.
I thought it was a joke. I thought maybe Brie a little tired, but
Yeah, so let's back it up for the people that may not have seen the clip. At this current moment of recording, it is March 27th. So the clip that we are referring to is of the Oscars where Chris Rock was presenting an award, but prior to him presenting, he was making some just funny remarks of different actors, actresses, etc. Just kind of going around the room shouting people out, right? Like, oh, I see you, Johnny, with your big head, stuff like that.
yeah.
And so it was lighthearted, so we thought. And so he ends up making a comment about Jada Pinkett Smith. And the joke was in reference to, is it G.I. Jane?
Yeah, the movie G.I. Jane.
So he was saying that, and Jada, I'm going to see you in G.I. Jane 2.
Right.
And once he said that, oh, buddy, he should have left Jada alone. Will ends up standing up and walking literally on stage and slapping, yes, you heard me correct, slapping Chris Rock publicly. And that really caught not just me, but of course, even everybody in the room off guard. And that was just the clip I saw.
And also, if you're not as familiar with G.I. Jane, just go back or Google G.I. Jane, and it's starring Demi Moore.
Demi Moore.
So, and that's gonna tell you the whole story. Like that's gonna just put it in
Once you
perspective.
see the cover of G.I. Jane, you're gonna understand why Will was offended. So why Quentin and I wanted to take a moment and use the Resilient Love platform to share and discuss this moment is because we see it from both angles, but we're going to give you a very practical response. Just how we would handle it as husband and wife, because in regards to what was said, you are literally talking about someone's wife,
right,
publicly. Okay? Take it there first before we get into titles and it was on national TV. Before we go into that part, we are talking about an outsider talking about a wife in front of her husband in a negative way, jokingly way. Okay, so Q, I gave the synopsis. Now you break down what you want to share.
Okay, so I'll jump right in by saying, first of all, men are the natural protectors of our wives. We are the protectors of our family. Anything that comes up against that, we have problems.
Yes.
And tonight, Chris had problems. But the real thing at hand is Chris didn't see the problem coming. He saw it, but it was a moment where you would never have thought that would, like, we thought, if I'm being honest, if I was at the Oscars, I would have thought maybe Will's just gonna jokingly push him or something of that nature. It's in a jokey way, but this was the one time, he was laughing initially until he really got a moment to let the joke register.
Yes.
And then he proceeds to the stage.
Right.
And handle business.
Ah.
So my thing is, as a protector, a husband, some jokes are just not jokes for some people.
Yes.
Where you're not aware of what's going on behind the scenes.
Yep. And I really love how Q started that off because, you know, men, whether it is your wife, your sister, your female cousin, any female that you regard,
the women in our family, we're just
yes.
protective.
And even if it's just a female in distress publicly,
Yes.
I believe a man will step up and say, "Hold up now, hold up." So why are we even talking about this? What's the big deal? So Quentin gave you the background of a male perspective. For me as a female, I want to just share 2 or 3 cents as well. You know, if you actually look at the clip, and we don't have the clip right now, but we want you guys, I'm sure if you see it on trending topics, on Twitter, on your social media platforms.
Just open your phone.
Just basically, you will see exactly what we're talking about. But anywho, when I saw Jada's face change, I knew at that point it was no longer a joke for her. And you know, it's funny because prior to us recording, Quentin actually made a statement. Share with the people what you said. Share with the people what you said when I said, "Hold on, Q, it's not just a joke for her."
It's the issue is that when you don't know what's going, when you do a joke jokingly, you cannot make the assumption that everyone is going to take it as a joke. Number one, you have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. The thing that you're joking about may be very, very sensitive.
And if you guys see the whole clip, thanks, Q. If you guys see the whole clip, you will see that Chris Rock was going around the room. Like he was kind of pinpointing different people in the room.
But in retrospect, because we kind of had a little debate about why would you go back and watch the beginning before it led up to this joke.
Yes.
And I was explaining to Brianna, I like to see the
what led up to the moment.
How was he interacting with the rest of the audience?
Right.
With the jokes, were they lighter? Were they like some harder, some lighter, depending on who it is?
Right, because sometimes if you are a funny person or a comedic person, you might give this person a harsher joke because you feel like, oh, they can handle it if I take it there with them, versus another person, they might be more sensitive.
Right. So
yeah.
I want to bring up a point that kind of puts this in retrospect too. Is you remember the Breakfast Club, right?
Yes.
The Breakfast Club a while back had Birdman.
Yeah.
They said something and he just shifted.
Correct.
To a whole nother, he was gone. Like, that's where that joke came, put some respect on my name.
Okay.
Remember?
Okay.
So we can't assume that person's gonna take it the way you're trying to give it.
All right. So that's a word right there. People love to joke. When we were growing up, people would joke and say, dish what you can take or take what you can. You dish out? Can you take what you're dishing out? Excuse me.
Right.
That was the phrase. Can you take what you are dishing out? And in this case,
to take a joke, to make a joke, you got to be able to take a joke.
That's right. And so with Quint bringing up that other point with the Breakfast Club and just how people give you a joke, but are you going to receive it as a joke? I really take that moment as me and Quentin looked at the full clip as he was mentioning the moments prior to him making the joke towards Jada, and then of course Will's response. When you see that entire clip, you realize, okay, so it was everybody in the room, first and foremost. Second point, once he got to Jada, she no longer laughed. Third point, Will gets up and responds by slapping him. Now, this is the next thing we want to bring up in our commentary. Once Will, the question of social media is, was Will wrong for getting up and slapping Chris? That was the question on social media. I want to ask you, what's your answer to that question?
No.
Okay.
For on a cultural level, it did hurt us.
Yeah.
Because it's just began to be more diverse amongst blacks at the Oscars.
Correct.
And on a cultural level, it hurt us. But on a moral level,
It's understandable.
it's very understandable. And I want to use the example of, let's just say, for example, you just had a procedure done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it left a scar, maybe like right near your cheekbone or something.
Yeah, right.
You could tell obviously something happened.
Yeah.
And someone makes the joke,
You got punched in your eye.
I guess Q was beating you down, huh?
Right.
But ultimately they didn't know that you had a very serious illness going on prior to this procedure that left this scar. So ultimately, my mind goes back to the seriousness of the illness you had. So all those emotions turns quickly into anger, and boom.
And that example, because Q was just giving an example for those that may just have tuned in with us. So the example of him sharing that was honestly just letting you guys know, if something were to have happened to me and I had some type of scar or mark around my facial area or face area, an individual making a joke about that could negatively affect how he is looked at. And in that, also, he wants to clarify by maybe punching you. I don't know. But his point was, people love to joke or pinpoint things not knowing what you're going through. And so it has been said that Jada deals with alopecia, hence the change in her hair type. So when Chris Rock made the joke about G.I. Jane, if you see the cover of that movie, you see that the character, it has a short cut, which directly relates back to Jada because she currently is rocking a bald head or short cut. But again, as Quentin mentioned, when you begin to joke on somebody's situation,
unknowingly,
not knowing it's a true situation, you then put yourself in the lion's den. You then put yourself in the fire because you did not know that your joke was no longer a joke.
Because their reality. So here's the thing about it. What you may call a joke was someone else's reality.
Yes.
And I used earlier when we were in discussion, I would take it as if it were you.
Mm-hmm.
And you had the shortcut. What if nobody knew that behind the scenes
that person dealt with
cancer? Because that's typically the thing that takes your hair out.
Because of the treatments.
Right. So that's a very we just lost a great, awesome actor, and he really kept his stuff very private with cancer.
Chadwick.
So you can't assume everybody's gonna put their information
publicly.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't assume that they're gonna share their personal life, their personal life information with you. They really don't have to.
They don't have to. Right.
They don't. In his respect, he didn't want to be treated a certain way.
Right.
So in this regard, I would be highly upset.
We finally outside again.
Right.
The Oscars was virtual. So we finally back into the building. We all dressed up looking good. And in this case, the Smiths, Will and Jada Pinkett Smith, are in the front row having a nice smile on their face, enjoying their time. And then the next thing that comes out of your mouth is a joke. Yes, everybody else in the room was laughing. Yes, everybody else took their particular joke and said, ha, ha, ha. But for Will, it was a slap.
But I want you to really zone in on, even though this is not the situation, but what if that was somebody that dealt with cancer just prior, and this was their first outing?
Yeah.
After going through all the radiation, going through all the treatment, and the joke that you think is a joke is really like bringing up all the emotions from what they just went through.
Yeah. So Quentin and I, we really wanted to bring this topic up as a reminder that we have to be mindful of what we say to people. That's it. We didn't come here to bash Will Choice. We
No.
didn't come here to bash Chris Rock. Because honestly, both men have to take ownership for their response.
Right.
Both men. Chris Rock has to take ownership for his joke. Will has to take ownership for responding with a physical assault. Because at the end of the day, there is public record
I mean
that you slap somebody.
That right there is as public as it get. I mean,
national television.
Here's the other thing though. You have to remember.
Go.
Will is quite wealthy.
Yeah.
I mean, his wealth dates back to the 90s.
Yeah.
So granted, that doesn't give him a pass per se to just go around hitting folks. But due to the nature of this situation, he felt very offended.
But you guys, this is the real reason right here that why we came live. What did Will just go through during the pandemic?
August.
Yeah.
So the scandal.
The scandal. This is why we came live. We came live because Chris Rock was actually a bystander.
He actually just poured salt
on a wound
that's healing. He's
in his healing. And Quentin and I are actually going through a class about healing. We're going through a class. We're really excited about the class. We'll tell you guys more about the class in another episode. But through that class, we realized that, and this is something that God gave me, healing is feeling. When you're healing, you're still feeling and dealing. I know I'm using all the INGs, but you're still going through the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions attached to what occurred. And so anything that stirs that pot can and will be used against you.
and oftentimes you think that it's over and you're healed. And a lot of times basically in this situation, Chris Rock reactivated a wound.
That's all he did. And with Chris Rock activating that wound, it reminds us that Will really want to do this to America. Will wanted to slap America. So Chris, well, like I said, was an innocent bystander.
He's slightly
to what? Well,
yeah.
I get. Well, you hear me out.
Okay.
He was an innocent bystander, and I know bystander is not the proper word right now, y'all. But just flow with me for a second. Chris Rock, like Quentin said, opened up Pandora's box with the joke. Because Will, as we just mentioned, is still going through his healing. Do you understand? As a married couple, as a couple, significant others, family members, when you see your family member going through something publicly, and they still have to face these same people that ridiculed, that had so much commentary, that had so much advice, but real talk, him and his wife had to close the doors and just deal with, okay, you cheated on me. And it came out publicly. And I still defended you and supported you even through this particular case. Now you fast forward, everybody's done talking about August and Jada. And the first event, you feel me?
Yeah.
The first event I come to with my wife, another person is trying to be funny, even though it's a whole nother joke.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing anymore.
So, okay. Well, then Bree, think about this. Now just hear me out on this then. We're talking about healing.
Yeah.
We're talking about wounds.
Yeah.
Okay. This really corresponds to Jada's show, Red Table Talk.
Right, that's correct.
So Jada is going through her own healing and going through her own process, where she's more so, to me, with the show, is in a discovery mode.
Yes.
So in that discovery mode, there's a lot of vulnerability to things you're dealing with, still working through. And that was just he got caught. He thought that he could just say the joke. Like the rest of the room caught their jokes. You know, they moved on. This was just it's just unfortunately for him, it just wasn't that simple.
It wasn't that simple. And overall, everybody, we want you guys to catch this bottom line point from us. Excuse me. That number one, watch what you say to people. Just when I say watch, I mean be mindful of the words that come out of your mouth, because once you say them, they are either going to help the person or hurt the person. That's it. When words come out of your mouth, they're going to help somebody or hurt somebody.
But also work on your memory bank. Because if you were really paying attention, you would have said, "Oh no, don't do that joke. They had some issues last year."
Just say hey.
Just say hey. You know, some I'm like, as much as you keep jokes, want to tell a joke, you need to keep a file folder too and say, "Hey, oh nah, that might not be the right one."
Nah, just like Tony Baker. I respect Tony Baker, and he has shown a lot of resilience and perseverance, even through the loss of his son. And you know, when he did Keep Your Distance with Kevin on Stage Studio.
And if you have not heard,
honey,
of Tony Baker,
you need to go over there and find Tony Baker on Instagram, find him on Twitter, follow him, get ready because he's on tour. But he did a joke on Keep Your Distance concerning his son. But here's the thing, and my mama always said this growing up, I can talk about you. But I'm not going to let anybody else talk about you.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing. Like Chris Rock, if Will talks about his wife or whatever, however they talk in their household, that's Will and Jada conversation. If an outsider tries to bring up something,
right,
it's like,
So, for example, that's a good point. Like, of course, you know, we just lost my brother, but me and my sister can talk on the phone, and we could talk about the times where my brother would joke or just say something crazy off the wall, because he was literally a jokester.
That was him.
That was his communication.
Yes,
joking.
He had to joke.
And like, we could talk about that, but somebody trying to say, well, your brother he won't nothing. You know, he always joked.
I don't know, y'all. Q might be a wheel. Don't play.
I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I probably
don't play.
Yeah.
But see, that's the point. When something hits deep to a person, and you call it it's just a joke, Q.
Nah, that ain't no joke for me.
It's not a joke. You see what I'm saying? You see how Q voice just changed, y'all. Y'all listening to Q, but his voice just changed.
That literally, that is still, it's only been what, maybe almost 3 months?
Maybe. Two solid.
2 solid months. Wow.
Yeah, next month will be 3.
Wow. But see, that's what I'm saying. 2 solid months
since the loss.
Of my brother. And
if somebody try to joke right now about Frog Pass or
something like that,
it's like, baby, don't touch it.
You know,
I'm laughing because I'm laughing, but my husband ain't laughing, so y'all better watch it now.
I'm being honest though. I don't know how I would respond, and that's what scares me.
But see, that's also why, going back to our topic,
right?
Will flip the script,
and I'm sure he didn't know how he was going to
know.
Like, that's I'm not gonna say an out of body experience or nothing like that,
but for real though, the way Will respond, I need y'all to go catch that video seriously, because the way Will responded, he did not care about no sensory, right? Because he cussed.
Yeah,
he did not care about sensory. He didn't care about being censored.
So
he didn't care about none of that.
And this is slightly, this is funny, but I guarantee you, he gonna be getting some. I know this happened on national TV. I know all that, but the way he just cut that scene, somebody want him in a movie. God knows he cut that when he slapped and walked away. For me, when he did that smooth hand to pocket with the suit.
Like, my thing is, for that man,
couldn't believe.
Y'all need to go watch that clip because for that man to jump up.
I mean, but he was so smooth with it. Think about it. Okay, let's think about this now. He got up.
Yeah.
He didn't run. He didn't change his tempo. He literally walked with confidence, and boom.
Yeah.
He turns around and he walks back to his seat, smooth as he walked up.
But Chris Rock asked him a question. Right?
Yeah, he did.
And Will said, keep my wife's name.
So he fueled fire instead of just letting it ride.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Chris.
No, this is what happened. Chris said, Will just slapped me on national TV. And Will came behind him and said, keep my wife's name out your bleep mouth.
Right.
Okay?
Twice. So what?
And that voice echoed
in
that auditorium.
And it's funny because I just caught myself when we were talking about my brother's situation. I even just really caught myself. I was like, the baritone went deep.
Yeah. You showed.
I was like, oh. See what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. When your emotions are still set in that place of healing,
right?
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
And then you gonna put gasoline on a fire. Obviously, I don't know if Chris was just as shocked.
He was shocked. He had to be because he couldn't even get back on track.
Right, the joke slap you silly.
I think that the people, right? I think that the what are they? Producers, directors, they wanted him to have a moment to just be Chris. But then get back on track.
There was no.
And I don't know if Chris. That's a point I didn't even think about.
What?
Did Chris write that joke, or was it written by? Or was that because I was thinking, well, maybe the producers allowed Chris Rock to have an open moment to be funny, or was
I'm pretty sure.
So you feel like it was just him?
I think it was an open moment because when you think back to most comedians, especially like Kevin,
that was just an open moment.
I don't think they had.
That wasn't scripted.
Yeah, I just can't really see
but
that.
But he couldn't get back on script though.
He couldn't get Bree.
He just got slapped.
If you hear the mic in which the force. Some would call it, this might be a little funny, but that was a pimp slap right there.
Pimp hand is way strong. Woo! I don't know what to tell y'all.
I'm sorry.
All we can tell y'all is go watch the clip, come back, and comment below. What are your thoughts on this episode? Because we realize right now the Oscars is so black.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's gonna be so black no more.
Because of Will and Chris, it's so black.
But this might be it, y'all.
Well, what that man say on Color Purple? Oh, well, time to go.
Oh my God, I cannot imagine how that after the game.
Like, how are you this goes back to Versus. Okay. Don't you remember? It was like a trending topic of Brandy and Monica.
I do remember that. That was during 2021, early 21.
Yeah. But you remember they were saying when they were younger, Monica did something to Brandy. It was something. I don't want to mess up the story. But the point is there was an issue between them.
Yeah.
And so when they got on Versus, everybody was like, oh, y'all doing a Versus after everything?
You know what that reminds me?
What?
Remember when we was in school and fortunately we went to high school together. We actually went through middle school, high school. So
yeah.
But she specifically know what I'm talking about. When we went to school and we would be in the courtyard, because most fights was in the courtyard.
Yeah, most of the fights in the courtyard.
Courtyard of the cafeteria. Yeah. So what would happen is, especially if it was in the courtyard, people would edge it on. When I say instigate,
yes.
And I feel like that was when it hits the media, that's it. Like this slap is
And they gonna milk this slap
This
for
is
about
gonna
2
be-
days.
I like the memes. Y'all comment the memes below so we can go ahead and get them all over with. Now.
Yes, please.
Please comment the memes below. I just want to get them. Go ahead and get them over with for the first week, because this is probably gonna be around for a minute.
This is a hot topic. Like my girl Wendy Williams. We love you, girl. This is a hot topic.
Yeah, this
is like when she used to
Wow.
say, "This is a hot topic. This is a hot tea." This is hot tea. They can't even focus on who won the awards now.
Like the whole show.
The whole show has shifted to a slap.
But it's, you know what? It would have been different had it been any other award show. It would have been different. But it's the Oscars.
It's the Oscars.
The
They
Oscars.
were not known for this. They have the flow and the prestige and
it's like the dinner table and the cookout.
The dental. You try to do it, Medea.
But seriously, when you think about award shows, you would put
Oscars is the top of the line.
Yeah, that's like getting invited to the White House.
It is. It's like White House Oscars. Like that's the order.
When you think about going to Essence or something like that,
mm-hmm.
you think about going to, and this is not to downgrade him at all, but it's just two different cultures and levels. You think about going to Tyler Perry Studios.
That's true.
Because of the culture.
Yeah, the atmosphere.
The culture, you know, we're professional in our culture, but we have a different flow than the Oscars. The Oscars is known for being more uptight.
Yeah, I see why.
The Essence is more of a relaxed environment.
Having a good time,
right?
Flowing.
And this is definitely not to say that we as a culture, as a race, can't be at the Oscars.
That's right.
This was just a moment that could have happened to anybody. Let's make that very clear. This could have went any way for anybody. No matter what color they are.
No matter.
So I really hope that really gets taken into consideration. It could have been another way.
Yes.
So please, y'all comment these thoughts. Go ahead and comment the memes so we can see them. We would love to hear more. Like, we love to hear other people's perspectives on how they view it. Because one thing about it is we see the same thing, but we don't interpret it the same.
There was a quote now that we're reading coming from somebody that we follow, and it's Larry Reed Live. And there's a screenshot quote that he has up here, and I just want to read it to you guys. So it says, Chris Rock does this sort of stuff and it gets edited out. We were working on another award show some years ago, and he made jokes about Oprah and Gayle being lovers. He was clearly under the influence. The level of discomfort was high in the audience, and Gayle was visibly over it. Much of what he did in his set during that show couldn't be used. So that confirms what... We just looked at the picture again, y'all. But that comment that was shared on his platform, Larry Reed Live's platform, is a confirmation of what we just said.
Right.
So that came from a producer of a different show,
right,
verifying that was an open opportunity for Chris Rock to share.
Let's also say a credible
source, right? So it said the last joke we're going to share with y'all from Larry Reed Live is there's a slap spirit that has been released over the land. Be careful with that mouth. You might get slapped. That was from Larry Reed Live. But seriously though, all jokes aside, everybody, and I mean that because this whole episode was about somebody joking. So putting the jokes aside and being 100% serious, we want everybody who may catch this episode to know that Quentin and I are not advocating for people to get slapped, but we want people to understand that when you are going through healing, no matter if you think, oh, they should be over that by now. When somebody went through something public, something emotional, you have to take self off the table and consider the other person.
That's true. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, Bree going to give you the nice version. I'm going to give you the other version. That's true. That's true. This is what I will say, though. You have to assess the risk. When you open your mouth, You have to assess the risk and be willing to take the consequences that come back at you. In this case, they came in the way of a mighty
Russian. Lord have mercy. But listen, everybody, if you enjoyed this episode, please let us know. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button. Also, make sure to stay connected with us as we are shifting how we do this thing. Yes. We are Quentin and Brianna, and you have just witnessed another episode of Resilient Love. All right. We'll see y'all in the next one. Have a great day and a great night. All right. All right. All right. All right.
Thank you to all listeners and subscribers. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Leave us a 5-star review on Apple so that we can continue sharing resilient love. Thanks for listening.